ka chanela ka lo lom le veka cheu coming chu lal nun pui hiu barania voi na hianin hei mi special tak komna hun ka nei tur hi kaloma anni hi Mizo Chhungkua USA lo thleng hmasa ber anni a chuan adang dai le na em chu mi tam tak USA lo kalan tum lain ani chu Mizoram a hei a hole de ya voina hianin an lo kaldan chanchin te anu le pa chanchin te soitur tam tak kan nei a hmasa berin voina hianin ka kom theitur che hi kaloma. Thank you so much. It's an claim. Any background information? It's an claim. Min han shil thengem.
My name is Sputnik Samuel, and my unofficial Mizo name is Van Lal Rin Ngaka.
Van Lal Rin Ngaka.
Darikuma.
Mizo hi ishathiam vekem. Mizo tong hi.
I know maybe a little less than half, maybe, but I'm working on it.
Mizo tong thiam du wang hian Mizoram a hoa. Tiro.
Yes.
Min lau shathiam ula hei. Tuna Mizo tong ala zir me ka wangin English ten kan lau pol nuai dona kha ngai thlang dan te min lau thiam sak turin ka han ngen chewa. Voina hian hei alomom ema. Before we get into your family story, and chung ko chanchin kan soima hianin anu baural khanin obituary chanchin an ziana khanin apu po kha Mizoram tan mi hlu mai Dr. Masaber alaunia. Your grandfather was the first Mizo doctor, one of the first.
Yeah, that was officially licensed. Yeah.
Can you share some information about him? What's his name, and did he practice?
His name is Lal Tonga Silo, and him and another classmate in 1911 they graduated with they were licensed doctors.
Equivalent to maybe MBBS today?
I believe so. And the other person, he passed away not too long after the graduation. So my father he didn't really actually practice with the public setting.
Not the conventional way.
Conventional, but he was being a silo, he was a chief, so he went back to his home town of Muntra.
Yes.
Muntra.
And
practiced there within his village.
He practiced within his village.
Yes.
That speaks a lot about his character, to go back and serve his own community. And so he was a chief and a doctor, physician there.
Yes.
Wow. I want to talk about your mom's side of the family first. Shift to your mom's side. What was your mother's name? When was she born?
Nur Kungi Silo. She was born in same place where her father in Muntra. Yeah, and she had about eight or nine other siblings, and she was the third, I believe, third born, and she was the last surviving of the family. Oh no, sorry, there's one still alive.
Okay.
One still alive in Mizoram.
When did your mom pass away?
On November the 4th of 2025.
2025.
Yeah, in the U.S.
The day before she passed away, she was in Shenandoah, right? Did you take her to Skyline Drive?
Yeah, my brother Joseph brought her. We met halfway, which we did every Saturday for church at the Mizo SDA church. But it was such a nice day that I said, when my mom got in the car, I said, let's go to Skyline Drive, being in October. It was latter part, or actually the first part of November, I think it was. And we went there and had beautiful scenery, and took picture of mom.
Yeah.
It was a great picture, but unfortunately she looked a little gaunt. So the scenery was great. That's all I can say. But yeah, that was my last time I spent with her. The next day, she unfortunately passed away. But yeah, I really enjoyed having the Sabbath and the short time we had to spend together. So that's my lasting memory of Mom. The last night.
Even right before she passed away, she had like such an awesome day. Didn't have any sickness or anything. She wasn't in bed.
Yeah, she was 97.
Wow, what a blessing, right?
Yes, 97, almost 98. Within 2 more months, she would have been 98. Yeah, she was doing exercise. I was
exercising.
She was exercising. She was doing toe touches and alternate toe touching and all that
97.
stuff. Yeah, 97. Maybe I can squeeze in a video of her, a short little video of her doing that.
Yeah, just
a couple of weeks before that. So yeah, it was a surprise that because she was able to bathe herself, dress herself. She had to walk with a cane, but for the most part, she was not bad for that age. She wasn't bed bound, and the video will show.
Yeah, what a blessing. And she was also the first female Mizo to be baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Correct.
How did that happen? What influenced her to become an Adventist?
Her first cousin, Lian Zwala. Lian Zwala.
Was her first cousin?
Was her first cousin. Yeah, both each of their fathers were brothers. So he was baptized, we believe, in 1941 by Pastor Lang, Seventh-day Adventist pastor there, and he was the one. Actually, was the first. What do you want to call it? Principal, or I don't know what they call it.
Founder
of Assam Training School.
Assam Training School, which is Northeast Adventist College now.
Correct.
Northeast Adventist University.
Oh, it's university now?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 41, her first cousin got baptized, and then he was able to spread the word when he finished that, and he had a little bit of training. So he was able to get, I believe, 7 other Mizos. And in 1944, they were all baptized, and she was one of the 7. She was I believe, was the only female, I believe, of that 7. And that's how she got her influence and start in the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Got it. Yeah. And while she was in ATS, I believe, did her parents pass away?
Unfortunately, both of them passed away of typhoid. And of course, the family wanted her to come back home for the, for the funerals and all that. But Pastor Lang strongly urged her to stay because in his foresight, he thought that if she goes back home, she might not come back because she was still in high school at that time, and she was really torn up between that. So finally, Pastor Lang convinced her to stay, and so she finished her graduation from ATS. Yeah.
And then she went on to become a nurse, right?
Yes.
When she
finished, when she finished high school, then going on to college, she didn't have the funds. So Pastor Lang was able to find an American lady, a retired lady. Her name was Lafferty. I forgot her first name. Mary Lafferty, and she sponsored Mom through prayers, and it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Mary Lafferty didn't know who Mom was, but Pastor Lang was able to make contacts in America, and she sponsored Mom for her nursing training
at
Gifford Memorial Hospital in Newsville.
Newsville, that's in Andhra Pradesh.
Yes.
In India, South India.
Yep.
That's amazing. Did she ever get to meet Mrs. Lafferty?
No. By the time we came to the U.S., I believe she had passed away by then. She was a rather elderly person at that time. She sponsored Mom.
If only she knew the impact that she made.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All the Mizo community here, and
I'm sure that they'll meet in heaven, and that'll be a very interesting time. Oh, so you're Mrs. Rafferty. Oh, you're the one I helped. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that just goes to show you that sometimes when you help people, you might not see the result in your lifetime, or even prayers, right?
Prayers and helping people in whatever way it is, through words of encouragement, financial, or whatever else. Yeah, you're not going to see that reward, like you said, till we get to
heaven.
Yes.
And then I think the next step was how your parents met. But before we talk about how they met, I want to get some background information on your dad. What was his name? Any information that you can provide?
Yeah, my dad was Hrang Sote Derakuma. He was born in Munmeltra, somewhat near Champai, for those who don't know.
Munmeltra, okay.
Yeah. So
what year was he born?
He was born in 1925. He was born about just over 2 years before. Mom was born 2 years after he was. So, yeah, this old picture will show Dad when he was, I think he was in his teens. The family at the time.
What did your dad do? I heard, through reading some of the information about him, he was in the Army or Air Force.
Air Force, yes.
Indian.
I don't know what motivated him to go to the Air Force specifically, but World War II, he joined up in the Indian Air Force, and he actually wanted to become a pilot. And when it came to his first flight, after his first and only flight, because by the time they landed, the instructor was kind of upset. He says, "Can't you don't seem to be understanding, or is it your English problem why you can't understand what I'm trying to teach you?" And then they found out my father was deaf in one ear.
Oh,
he was deaf in one ear. So yeah, the instructor says, how did you come up thinking you could fly with only one good ear?
So he was disqualified.
So he was disqualified, yeah. So, but my dad stayed in the Air Force until he retired, came of retirement. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Next is how they met.
Okay.
Your mom, so all this information, we didn't plan ahead, but can I mention what I found out through her when she passed away at our memorial service? Tell me if it's right. Your mom graduated nursing school. She was on her way home or on her way somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
Maybe to work in Shimla, I'm not sure, but your dad was working at the Calcutta rail station.
Yes, he was still in the Air Force.
Still in the Air Force,
right.
And worked there. He was in charge of some ticketing booth, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And that's how they met.
At the train station in Calcutta, yes.
Oh,
one of the one of the train stations in Calcutta. If there were more than one, I don't know. Yeah.
So what a beautiful love story.
Yeah,
it's like a Hindi movie.
Yeah, I think he was. I guess he was kind of attracted to her because he offered her food and had one of the coolies, whatever, come and offer her food, but he was with pork.
Oh.
And she says, "No, I can't eat that pork," and that kind of intrigued him. So anyway, in the course of a conversation, they struck up a conversation and got to know it. The short time got to know her, and somehow I guess he was able to maintain contact with her after that, and he got to know more about her. And I guess after a while, I don't know the length of it. Maybe it had been less than a year or maybe a year that he asked her to marry him. But
Your
she
mom said no, right?
No. First of all, two things. I have to know the person at least 1 year, and they have to be baptized in the Seventh-day Adventist faith. Yeah. So all the Pastor Lang and Psalm training schools training, it's still instilled in her.
Yeah.
So at that age, yeah.
So she brought someone in to
She
the
brought
church.
someone in.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was her turn to do her share.
Yeah, that's amazing. Also, one thing remarkable that I want to mention is that your mom was hired by the first health minister of India, Amrit Kaur, to be the personal nurse for her sister-in-law, a British woman.
That's the story I've heard.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
That's amazing. So that's how your parents met, and a year later, after your dad got baptized into the Adventist church,
yes.
Your parents got married.
Yeah,
right?
They were married on his birthday. On his birthday.
What do you know?
1956, October 25, 1956. Yeah.
Where?
In Calcutta.
Calcutta.
In Calcutta, yes.
Okay.
Where he
Because that's where he was
working.
stationed.
Yeah. And I guess she must have been working somewhere in one of the hospitals at that time, since she finished her nursing training at Newsman. Oh, one thing to mention, she developed a very close friendship with one lady. Her name was Sosama Zachariah, and till her last day, that she was probably her best friend through all the years, knowing her from that time. That name, we'll bring it up later.
Yes,
just want to mention it now.
And then you guys moved to Spicer. Can you talk a little bit about how many siblings you have? How many kids? Who's the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest, and I was born a year after the parents were married. Then my brother next to me, David, he was born 2 years after me, and then Danny. Well, now he's Pastor Danny of the Waldorf Seventh-day Adventist Church here in Waldorf, Maryland, in the U.S., and he was born like 5 years after me. And then the last one was Joseph Derrickuma. He was born about 8.5 years after me. Yes.
And we'll talk about later, but Joseph was born in the U.S.
Yes, we believe he's the first born...
First Mizo baby.
First Mizo baby.
In the U.S.
U.S. Quite possibly, who knows?
Yes, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So after your parents got married, you was for a few years you were in India. Where were you born? And your name is sort of interesting.
Yes, I was.
How did you get your name?
I was born in Bombay, and Sputnik. Those you non-Mizos, it's a very unique Mizo name. Yeah. Not really. So I was born. For those those who have some sense of knowledge of history, the Russians' first satellite ever launched was the Russian satellite called Sputnik. But that was launched in October 4 of 1957. I was born about almost 3 weeks before that. And the story I always try to convince people is that at the hospital where I was born, the room next to Mom's was actually a Russian couple who happened to be in the Russian military, and they heard that the name was given. It was such a unique name. They asked if they could borrow that name for the. Well, I don't remember if it was for their child purposes, but actually they gave Mom and Dad some money for using that name.
Oh.
And so so actually we use that. That's how we use those funds to come to America.
Oh, really?
Not true.
Okay. Where did you live? You were born in Bombay. What did your parents do while they were in India for those few years before America?
Yeah, Dad went to Spicer Memorial College at the time, in Pune. We lived in Pune from 1960 to 1964. Mom worked as a nurse right next door at the military hospital. Yeah, so Dad went to the college, did his 4 years, and graduated in 1964.
64.
Yeah.
And then after that, your parents came to the U.S.
Yes.
How did they get the opportunity to come? Because those days, it was hard to get sponsorship or to even go abroad.
Dad saw this flyer when he was at Spicer. It was from this place in Wildwood, Georgia. They were looking for missionaries to come to that small little town in Georgia and ask for assistance and whatever. So Dad was very interested in that. Well, he'd always dreamed about coming to America. So he signed up, and we were very fortunate, and we got sponsored as a whole family, which is very unusual.
Rare.
Yeah, because years after that, at least I can speak for just the Mizo people, anybody that came to America were only one by one. Usually the husband or the male
comes
figure.
First.
You come first, not the whole family. We had a whole family of 5. That made it very unusual.
Yeah, definitely. What was your journey like? How was, Where did you leave India from?
We left Bombay in May of '64 by boat. The Roma by ship.
Roma, that sounds Italian.
Yeah, it's an Italian cruise ship or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, wow.
Then we went through the Suez Canal, Mediterranean, and then we actually went to the Isle of Malta. Those of you who know your Bible and where Paul was stranded for a short time in the Isle of Malta.
Wow.
And then this is where, being 6 years old when I came on that journey, my memory is different from Mom's relative, Ma Kumi. My recollection was we took that ship all the way to France and took the train across France and then took the ferry across the English Channel and then England to the airport in England. Ma Kumi says we went to, Mom had told Ma Kumi that we went to Italy, docked there, and then took the train through France. So, I don't know.
Close enough.
Yeah, but I don't know. Mom's memory at that time might not have been. Who knows? You know.
Got it. So,
but then I might be wrong too. So I don't know.
Yeah. So from Bombay, Suez Canal,
Mediterranean, all the way to France.
All the way to France. Yeah. From France,
took a train across France. Then across the English Channel, we took a ferry.
Again, another boat, ferry.
Smaller boat. Yeah. And then probably most likely we took a train across England to get to the airport.
Heathrow Airport.
I believe it was Heathrow, yeah.
Such a long journey. People complain about 24 hours journey to Mizoram, right? Now, like, oh, it's such a long journey.
Right.
How many days did you...
It was about a month. We took, when we landed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the U.S. on June 10th of 1964.
Wow.
Yeah.
1 month later.
It was about a month, give or take. Yeah.
So from Philadelphia,
we took a bus all the way down to Wildwood, Georgia. Well, I don't know whether it's a Greyhound bus.
I thought you guys came to Maryland first. I had no idea you were in Georgia.
First, we went to Georgia. We were there for about 3 months or so. Yeah, maybe about 3 months.
I forgot to ask you. You were 6 years old. You know, getting on that boat must have been exciting. But anything interesting?
Yeah, being in we hardly left Pune. My recollection at that time, the only time we went anywhere on Sabbath, we would go to Spicer for church.
Back and forth.
On a bicycle. They were well, initially it was 4 of us. Yeah,
in one bicycle?
One bicycle. We have a picture somewhere. Unfortunately, it's lost.
How did you all fit?
Dad was the main cyclist.
Yeah.
Me and David. So at that time we were probably I left when I was 6, so David was probably on 4 at our oldest. So for a couple of years we were much smaller. So we would ride between Dad and the handlebars. Mom would be in the back behind Dad, in a seat behind Dad.
Yes.
And then when
holding a baby.
Danny was that was only from '63. Danny was born in '63, but he didn't ride very long, less than a year, whatever. So
you guys didn't even need a car.
We didn't need no stinking Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our mode of transportation going. So anyway, that's about the only place I remember leaving our house in Pune, going to Spicer for church or whatever, or some other occasion. But yeah, on that ride on the Roma ship lines. The main thing I can remember for whether you call it good or bad experience, but yeah, it was having the rocky motion of the boat. I was rather made me unsettled. So when the food that I ate didn't sit too well, so I had to go down to the bottom of the boat there to relieve myself, eliminate the process food that didn't settle well in my stomach. And there was a little porthole where right next to the toilet when I'm sitting, and I could see the waves going in and out. So, but watching that, it started making me nauseous. So after a while, not only was I doing the main purpose, what I went down there to the bathroom for, but I started throwing up. So I was eliminating
From both.
my bodily function through both orifices. So that was nasty. That's the main thing I can remember about that trip. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So life in the U.S., all right? You guys made it after 30 days in, you said October? No,
Well, we landed in June 10.
June 10th.
Went straight to Wildwood,
June
Georgia.
10th.
We were there.
Landed.
Yeah.
What was it like? Any cultural barriers?
Yeah,
What is the most difficult thing your family faced?
The thing that sticks in my mind is, well, one thing was that
As a 6-year-old, yeah.
As a 6-year-old. Our small little house was right next to the railroad tracks. So every morning there was a very faithful train. It was a train carrying cargo or whatever else. It's carrying because it was a long train. 5 o'clock sharp, it'll come by and our house will be just slight rattle. That was the alarm clock for Dad. That was his job. He'd go milk the cows. For the first couple of months, he would go milk the cows. So every morning, Monday through Friday, that 5 o'clock train would wake us up, and then, wake Dad mainly up. Once in a while, I'd go help him milk the cows. But yeah, that's the memory I have of that. The other thing I can remember was that me and David in Pune, we'd always eat with our hands.
The Mizo way.
Mizo way. Well, the Indian way.
Yeah,
whatever.
the Indian way.
But when we got there, the folks down there would try to teach us to eat fork and spoon. It was very difficult. It took us a long time. I don't think we mastered it for the short stay we were there in Wildwood. Yeah, it took a long time. And one of the thing that I just remember now is that we always made a fun. They always whenever they would say folks, we couldn't say L, so it cannot be R.
Yeah.
So they would say, we'd always say, oh, I can't use this. I can't use this. No, we couldn't say R, sorry.
Yeah,
so it came out L. So we can't use our folks. And they try to correct us. No, forks. Yeah. So those three things in my memory of, my faint memory of
so it wasn't
Wildwood.
a bad start then.
No,
it was pretty
fun.
easy.
It was good.
Transition for you guys.
Yeah.
You already spoke English really well. Yeah.
Talking about that, the reason why our English was pretty good is because Dad always had the dream of coming to America. I guess from his Air Force days.
Right.
So I don't know what inspired him. Maybe from all those movies he saw, Hollywood movies he saw there. I don't know, in World War II.
The cowboy movies.
Movies or whatever. And he said, my kids. Oh, he had an incident where, more than one actually, where the Air Force, the personnel, they would make fun of his English.
Mizo accent.
His Mizo accent. So when he developed this dream of coming to America, he said, I will never have my children when they want them to speak perfect English. So that's why growing up in Pune, Dad and Mom never spoke to us in
Mizo.
In Mizo.
So just English at home.
In English, right. So that
it worked out. So it was easy transition. Didn't have the language barrier.
Yes, but the only thing was though that Dad forgot is that we weren't made too much fun about our accent, but we couldn't change our look.
Yeah.
So having that Asian, look, people always make fun of us. Call us ching chong, ding dong, or whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the opposite experience because I too didn't grow up in Mizoram or born and raised outside of Mizoram, but my dad did not allow us to speak in English at home. So I had to learn both. But now all you're doing is now you're trying to learn all the Mizo back.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to learn Mizo.
Yeah. That's good. You talked about the discrimination, and in the 60s it was a different America, maybe not so different, but was it worse than it is now? Well, as far as being discriminated?
Well, being very young, and I guess more sensitive to it. But in today's climate, though, unfortunately, we kind of seemed like we were swinging back to the other end.
Not that much different,
Yeah, because the way some people are treating foreigners. Yeah.
Sadly.
Sadly.
Yeah. So you did get called names and things like that?
Yeah, nothing major, but
Yeah.
enough to, Dad used to always said, when they call you Chinese, don't worry about it because you're not Chinese.
Yeah.
So that's Dad's way of trying to
Right.
get us not to be offended too much. So, yeah. We actually have a sister, an unofficial sister.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned Sosama Zachariah, my mom's best friend in nursing school. In 63, I believe it was, she had a child that she asked Mom to take care of for a short time due to various reasons. So, and her name was Judy. So we had her from pretty much right after birth, or maybe a little older, until maybe a year or two. And,
Is she in the U.S.?
She's in the U.S. Yeah. Her name is now Judy Leach. Leach, I'm pronouncing it correctly. Judy Leach, yes. And she has a daughter also.
Oh, okay.
But
so
yeah,
you have a sister.
So this picture will show that.
Yeah.
So,
That's nice. Thanks for sharing that. Who were your first Mizo friends?
well, let me backtrack with that. Is that with the first Mizo person that we saw in America was Uncle Hankai, Herbert Hangzo Hankai, and he came unannounced to our house, our first place when we had moved to Maryland. We moved to Maryland after 3 months, and he showed up unannounced, and then from there, I think about a year or two later, or maybe not too long after, my Uncle Rova came here. And my Uncle Rova is his father. I think it was his second wife. I believe it was my dad's sister. I believe sister it was. So we're related to Uncle Rova in that way. And then
So Uncle Bobby is your cousin.
yes, Bobby and Rosalind and Ronnie.
Yeah.
Those three, they are cousins.
Yeah, and they were your first Mizo friends then.
Friends at that time. Yep. I remember when Rosalind came, we went to New York to pick her brother Bobby, and Auntie Siami, Uncle Rova's wife. The 4-hour ride coming back from New York. Rosalind at the time, I don't know how old she was. Let's say she's 3. She was crying the whole way back.
Rosalind.
So, yeah, Rosalind, yeah.
I'm gonna ask Rosalind to
Yeah, well,
if it's true.
ask Punanga, her husband. He can probably verify that. In the current state. And then after that, my Uncle Malsama came, and my dad's brother. And so those are our 3 families. Actually, it's kind of strange. Those were our first 3 families, not counting Uncle Hankai, the 3 related family.
Yeah.
But to this day, that's about the length of our close family.
Yeah.
We never grew beyond that for whatever reason.
Yeah,
But then the cousins came with after that. Zwali,
and all of that.
Zwali, Zari,
Yeah.
Tlanga, Sam, and Rina. Yeah.
Oh, your dad's brother
My dad's brother's family. Uncle
and then
Balsama's
they
family.
came next after Rovas?
The Rovas, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we had other Mizos at that time were the Silo, Uncle and Auntie Silo's family. Yeah.
So it slowly grew.
Slowly grew. Yeah, but for a long time, the Hankais, the Rovas, the Malsomas, and the Silos, and all the kids. Yeah, we were for quite a while in the 70s until the next batch came in.
Okay, interesting. So when I first came to the U.S., you were married.
Yes.
What's her name? Can you tell us about her and how you met?
Yeah, her name is Chingy Kaltang. Met her right after I finished high school. Actually, there was Indian Seventh-day Adventist camp in Mount Etna camp in Maryland,
Hagerstown.
near Hagerstown.
Yes, I go there for kids program.
And I remember there were 2 people in front of the kitchen area or dining hall area. I remember it's when I first saw her. And it was like love at first sight. I was just
your
struck.
heart was just pounding out.
Yeah. Some might call it puppy love. Is it in between puppy love and,
Yeah. So
True
you
love.
married your first love.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, my first. I don't know about first love, but yeah, my first.
Official girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
What year did you get married?
In 81.
81.
1981. Yep. In 81. Yep.
What did she do? What did she come as? I mean, she
Yeah.
came to the U.S. as a single.
She
girl.
got her nursing training in Vellore in India, and then she got sponsored to come to America. She came here in 1975, and then when she came here, she studied for through 76. She studied for her registered nurse's license.
Oh, in 76?
76.
Wow.
Yeah, because she had a nursing training back in Vellore. So her first job, profession, occupation, what do you want to call it, was as a nurse.
Wow. She was a registered nurse in 1976.
76. Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I was here for her funeral. She passed away.
Yep.
What year was that?
She passed away in 2007. We were married for 25 years.
Wow.
And a couple of years after that.
What did she die of? If you don't know?
Sorry. She died of, passed away from lung cancer. She had never smoked, never drank in her life. So it's just one of those unfortunate, unknown reasons what would happen. Yeah. So, but that was we weren't able to have any children. We had a lot of cats and dogs though.
Yeah.
So that was it. One interesting story about Chingy was that in the latter part of her life, when she had an injury, so she couldn't do regular hospital nursing. So she got a part-time job as a public school, Washington D.C. public school nurse. And she would do basically like a 8 to 4 during school hours. And after a while, within the first week, she attended to some of these very young kids in the first grade, second grade. But because of her bedside manners, the way she treated the little kids, they loved the attention that she gave them. She was very caring. I guess the other nurses weren't that way. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
So there tended to be a pattern though. Some of the same little kids had the same ailments every day to come see her.
Excuses.
So,
they loved her.
They loved her. So, but it got to be so much though. By the end of the first week, Chingy says, "Oh, I'm so glad I don't have kids because these kids wear me out." So that's what.
She had many kids then at school, and nieces and grandnieces and nephews, right?
Yeah. After she passed away, a couple of years later, her sister Twai.
I remember her.
Yeah. She was here before she passed away to see her through her last days, and then her grand niece, her son's daughter, Tarte. She finished her nursing training here in Maryland, in America, and was able to find employment. And she passed the registered nursing tests, became a registered nurse. So in a way, it continues in the family from Chingy. Now the mantle is carried on.
Chingy would be very proud.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she has a lot to thank for her aunt Macy. Macy didn't really push her onto it, but supported her. Yeah. And then Macy was very, very much of a support there for I think 6 years when Macy was in America. She really supported to the wife, and especially to the end for that.
Even to your family,
and to my parents as they. After Chingy passed away, so Macy has been very much of a help in our family, in our expanded family, so to speak. Yeah, for that we will always owe her a great debt of
always be thankful
for her life. Very much so. Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. Do we want to talk about your pilot days, your aviation career?
There was a short time. It started when I was in high school. We had to do an interview. We had to interview anybody in any profession. And I went to the local airport and interviewed one pilot who he had to run a small little flight school. in College Park, Maryland. And that got me interested in the thing. So for many years, I was very interested. I never really got into it. And then I finally was able to put some money aside, got it, and I worked at a local airport and as a traffic pilot, we would fly a radio reporter in the air about 1,400 feet above the ground. We'd fly counterclockwise around the Washington Beltway. Basically, it's a circle. We fly counterclockwise the Beltway. The reporter would be on the left seat. I'll be flying on the right seat. And then he will be observing the traffic on his left side. And then, unfortunately, he will be reporting to the radio listeners information they already knew, which is they're stuck in traffic. I mean, they already know that. So, yeah. So
it must have been fun, though.
I did it for a couple of years. Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. The sunrises were phenomenal. I just can't describe being up there and seeing. And we're only at 1,400 feet, so it's quite nice. And I was fortunate. We had a couple of Mizo people that came visiting in America, and I was able to take them up for rides. So, yeah.
So if you're in a plane and something happens and they need a pilot, would you raise your hand and say, here,
well, not at
fly
this point.
down to Thleng Pui?
Yeah. I don't know if I can do that now at my old age, but yeah, it's been many years.
Yeah. For anyone that's afraid of flying, what would you say?
Well, if you're afraid of flying, go. If you want to try it, go on a real calm, smooth day. Nice, sunny, calm, smooth. Make it very little wind. So try it. Just you can do a short little 15-minute one time around the airport. Just try it, short little time. See how you like it. Yeah. So
I've heard turbulence. You shouldn't be afraid of turbulence.
Well, no, you shouldn't be afraid because if you're flying, these are small. The planes I flew only had 4 seats, small little planes. So. If it's too turbulent, of course, the pilot should not be flying. But they usually can make that determination before they fly. They'll check the weather reports.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if you're in a commercial flight, there's not much to be afraid.
No, because they can handle a lot more things. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But just listen to when the main pilot tells you to buckle your seatbelts. Buckle those seatbelts. You never know. You never know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You've also helped so many Mizo people with jobs.
There was a majority of my working life has been in periodical business, meaning magazines, books, and newspapers.
Yeah.
And one time, when I was the manager of the place, we had need for drivers and warehouse people. So one by one they came. So I think at our max capacity of Mizo, we had 10 Mizo drivers and 10 Mizo warehouse workers. So we had 20 in there.
Must have been interesting, fun.
Yeah. I think we had more Mizo warehouse workers than non-Mizo workers. So that was rather interesting.
No regrets, huh?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was good. Enjoyable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Got people a start when they first came to America, so to speak. Yeah.
Always helping your own people. I think that's good. Gave them a start.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about the Mizo Society of America because you were here when it was formed, way after you came.
Yep.
Were you involved in any way in the community?
Yeah. After Chi and I got married, I think about a year later or so, Sapa was here and he had asked me. He brought up the idea of having an organization for the youth. And so that we can do things for fun, go out hikes and camping trips or whatever else. And having been in the Pathfinder system in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is like the Boy Scouts, I knew a lot of places where we go hiking, camping, picnicking, and whatever else. And so we put our heads together. And then Sapa named it Mizo Youth of America. Oh, okay. Yeah, so but he's the one that came up with the idea, and he had this,
vision.
Yeah, he had this vision. He was the visionary person. And I just assisted him with helping places to go. So yeah, we started with about maybe 15, and I think we grew up to maybe at the most we had maybe 30 or maybe a little under 30 max capacity.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, we went every month. We did something. That was our plan. So 12 times or about 12 times a year, we did something with our local Mizo group. By then, the lower 80s, sorry, they were more Mizo youth at the time.
Oh, okay.
So, but then about 2 years after that, the older ones, they kind of felt left out.
They wanted to have some fun too.
They wanted to have some kind of organization too, and then that's where Sapa, once again, got the idea of having a group for everybody, and that's where he was the main force of beginning the Mizo Society of America. Because all the plans that he had formulated in our small little outfit, he incorporated that into the bigger one and added some things, of course, more specific to them. But so that's how
he had such a huge impact everywhere he went.
Everywhere, he was quite a visionary. I never met another person Mizo person like that in my life. Amazing fellow.
Yes, definitely. We miss him.
We miss him a lot. Yes.
I'm gonna talk about your life right now. So what's going on? You recently got married. Congrats.
Oh, well, thank you. thank you. Yes.
You are officially my uncle.
Some relative of yours, right?
Yeah. You're officially my uncle now.
Not the reason, but it just happened that way.
Yeah. What's her name? How did you meet?
Her name is Ate Jongtae.
What does she do?
She's a high school teacher who teaches mainly English.
English, okay.
Yeah.
How are you gonna learn Mizo if you marry an English teacher? You should have married a non-English speaking.
Right. So that's the problem I'm having to deal with.
Okay.
And then actually, it goes back to the first wife too, actually, and my relationships after that. So they always wanted to improve their English. They always wanted to improve their English. So me learning Mizo gets pushed back in the back burner.
Okay.
And plus also when I attempt to speak in Mizo, they make fun of my accent.
Mizo accent.
I'm having the same thing Dad experienced. But not in Dad trying to speak
it's
English,
just funny,
me speaking Mizo,
Don't worry about it. Just continue. Just speak in Mizo. Mizo trong lý rin lâu bề tổ rồi.
I guess.
And next, when you come back, we'll do a full Mizo interview.
Well, no guarantee I'll be speaking in Mizo totally by then. Actually, one story about my Mizo, I remember when Pastor Lowry, he was actually the second principal of ATS after
the
Pastor
founder
Lang.
of Helen Lowry School.
Helen Lowry School, yeah. When he came to America in 72-ish, I think I was in high school then, 72, 73, I didn't like the way he called me. He didn't say my full name, so he called me, hey, Sput. So it's like you spit. So
Mr. Lowry?
Pastor Lowry would call me that. I didn't like that. So plus the way he pronounced it, I guess it's sort of Mizo English sput.
So the American guy had a Mizo accent, huh?
Yeah.
Sput.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the old story. Pastor Lowry, I remember he said his first sermon he ever did in Mizo, they made fun of him doing his sermon. And after that, he never, if it's true, he never spoke in Mizo in public again. So
no one's going to make fun of you.
Right.
You just continue speaking. Yeah. Okay, so how did you meet your wife?
I had gone back to Mizoram a couple of years ago, and I had spent the AY Sabbath time, Saturday afternoon worship.
A couple of years ago?
Well, 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Like that. So went to the AY at Seventh-day Thlang, Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Pastor Byakchona and Neti, his wife Neti. Yep, that's what I said, Neti.
Okay.
So they invited me for dinner. So AY finished around 4. I must have spent 5-6 hours, 10 o'clock. Had meals, had a good evening. Then Pastor Byaka took me home. But then around 11 o'clock, he calls me, Sputnik, I want you to come for breakfast tomorrow morning. I wanted to sleep late. I said, well, Biaka, I don't know, because in the afternoon we have a church dedication, because that was the reason why I went to India at that time. Harry and Helen, Uncle Lalmama's two children, Silo, they had dedicated a church, built a church, and dedicated to their parents. So that's why I was there at that time. That was the reason why I was in Mizoram at that time. So going back to the Biakas, he said, no, I insist, you must come tomorrow morning. Then I grudgingly said, okay. So because I wanted to sleep in late and, go to there, because he said, we're going to the same program, so we can take you there. So then I had I had to say, okay,
Trapped.
no excuse.
Yeah.
So I go there back to the house. He said, come sit down. So him and Nettie went around the corner, and I could hear three voices around the corner. So coming around the other side into the living room, Nettie comes walking by, a little smirk on her face. She goes to the kitchen area, getting breakfast ready. Then Pastor Byakjona came by and smiled and said, oh, here, Sputnik, I want to meet you. I want to introduce you to Ate. So I said, oh, so you are the reason for breakfast, huh? So
you knew right away.
So, yeah.
But it worked.
And so that's how it started. Well, we were, it's where it started.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just talked.
Through the years, back and forth a little bit. Not much initially.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is what people might want to hear. Most people bring their spouses to the U.S., right? Wives, husband. You're doing the opposite. You're back to Mizoram.
Going back.
Yeah, after 60 plus years.
Yeah, I went there when I was 1 or 2 years old, so in 1958 or 59.
Yeah, so you're back there after so many 60 plus years.
Yeah.
What led you to make the decision to go back?
I was inspired years ago. There was I mentioned Harry and Helen earlier. Helen's son, Joe Danielson. He went to Spicer for 1 year when he was, I'm going to guess, 10, 11 years old, whatever. He went to Spicer because that's where the relatives Biaka and Wani were staying. Biaka was the dean of Spicer, men's dean, whatever. And within 1 year when he came back, Joe knew Mizo well.
He's really good even now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And from that time on, I said, I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to do that. Well, fast forward
you were inspired by that.
Yeah, fast forward now to last year.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that's what that's my inspiration going back. Of course, the initial reason was to learn the language. And then as the years developed, romance got involved. So it wasn't
2-in-1 package deal.
It just happened that way. Yeah.
That's great. What's the biggest difference that you see in your everyday life between here and there, and what do you miss the most about America? And I experienced it when I first went back, or second time technically, 11 years ago. It was just the people there. They're very warming. They're very honest. They really show brotherly love. Yeah. For example, when I went back 2.5 years ago, we were going to Champai, and from Champai we went with my uncle Rodinga and my uncle Thangpuya. Oh, by the way, commercial time. My uncle Rodinga, my uncle Thangpuya is a retired dentist, government worker, and he has him and his daughter Remy. They have a dental clinic. Oh, okay. Remdi Clinic. You can see on the video here. Okay.
So
advertisement.
Yeah. So we were going to from Champai. We went to Redia Lake, which is in Burma. For those who don't know, Redia Lake is in Burma, but Mizos consider Redia Lake part of Mizoram. So yeah, we went there, and then on our way back from Redia Lake, we going back to Champai, we saw a person going towards Redia Lake, the opposite way. My uncle Tang Puya said, pull over, because at that time he was still working for the government, so he had his chauffeur pull over, and for about 40 minutes, because we had no tools, we were trying to help this guy work out with his car. And then after that, somebody was coming in the same direction. He stopped, he had tools. So within 10 minutes,
that's amazing.
We got it. So that's an example. My uncle showed it. Exactly. That's what's my dad's favorite word. I'm not going to say it because I'll butcher it. But yeah, that's my dad's favorite word in growing up.
That's the best part of being a Mizo. Yeah.
But that's a small example of the brotherly love I noticed there displayed in practical terms. But yeah, just the feeling over there. And then plus I've always been an outdoor person, because I mentioned I was in Pathfinders and all that, and I love the outdoors, and the hills there in Mizoram, at least in Aizawl. Very nice. Very nice. So it's a nice clean air, at least a little bit outside the downtown Aizawl. But yeah.
So you love it there?
I love it there. And then also the nice thing, another nice thing about Aizawl is the little shops. Second commercial. If you want to do any female clothing fashion, visit, oh gosh, I forgot the name.
You forgot your commercial.
My cousins are going to kill me.
All right. We'll put a picture later on.
Yeah.
Or a name.
Shop at this store. Right.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay. But anyway, the camaraderie, the unity there, at least, from the short time that I've been there. I was there 5 months before I came back to the U.S. for a little while. Then I'll be heading back. But not that it's not here in America, but it just seems to be more prevalent there.
Right.
All I can say. Well, you have more than 90% there are Christian.
Right.
That's it, and literate. So it says something about the people. Yeah.
But what do you miss? You talked all positive, so a lot of good things about Mizoram. What do you miss about America?
I miss, food.
The
food that's available at pretty much any time of day or night.
24 hours Taco Bell, huh?
Yeah, or McDonald's is 24 hours.
Yeah.
But in Mizoram, unless you eat at a restaurant by, let's say, 8 o'clock maybe, or maybe even earlier, you're shut out. Place shut down. By 9 o'clock, most all restaurants are shut down. You might have a small little roadside stand that might have a little food, but very limited. But here in America, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting hungry, I can't sleep, let me go to McDonald's. I miss that. Yeah, and just the variety.
Yeah.
Not that I had a bad time eating there the short 5 months I was there, but I had no problem actually. So, because I ate pretty much the same food when I was here in America. So even though I was raised in America, and it had the American culture. At home, we've always had rice and curry almost all our life.
So it wasn't too difficult then?
Yeah, from the time with the parents, left the parents, through with Chingy, and then after Chingy, Macy took over, and all that, the same thing.
Right.
So it wasn't that much of an adjustment.
Easy transition. For the most part. Your family will always be remembered, as the first Mizo family to settle in the U.S. How would you like people to remember your parents and your family's legacy?
It just shows you that if you have a dream and you really want something bad for it, you have to work at it. My dad, even at it, he was 35. He was 35 when he started going to college back in Spicer.
Wow.
And in order to his dream of coming to America, he wanted to get educated, and he got baptized because of mom, and having that faith instilled in him. So with constant prayers, having a dream, working towards that dream. So if you really stick to it with the Lord's blessing, sometimes it doesn't happen that way, of course, but in our case, it's an example of something because at that time, no Mizos ever thought about coming to America. Oh, they thought about coming to America, but it hadn't happened. Though we're not the first Mizos to come to America, but the first family that settled down here, or what we think. Who knows? But that shows you that anything you do in life, always you have God's blessing on it, and then work hard at it too. You just can't say, okay, God, give it to me, whatever else. So you have to work at it, whatever the needs are to achieve that goal. So between your hard work and God's blessing, things can happen. Yep. So yeah, and actually for people that have the means nowadays, also you can think also about that. You can actually buy property in Mizoram and keep it like you hear people have their vacation home and whatever else, or in other states. You can have one in those are Mizos. It's working quite golfing.
What you're saying.
Right. You can have it as your vacation home. Just something to think about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Well, thank you for having me.
Like I said, next chit chat will be fully in Mizo, right?
No, no guarantees.
But for real, thank you for sharing your story and your family's story. I think it's not just personal. It's an important part of our history here, And again, my main reason for doing this is so that we understand it connects generations, and we understand what sacrifices and decisions were made, to be who we are today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.